29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
22. 21.
20.
19.
18.
17.
16.
15.
14.
13. 12.
11.
10.
8.
6.
6. What happened to 7?
7.
5.
4.
3.
2.
1.
0.
I'm not happy. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. My guts are bothering me again. So they're not bad. It doesn't hurt, but I'm like, I can feel in that general area where I was having all the pain before, some level of discomfort. And I'm like, great. Am I gonna have to go to the fucking hospital again? And then there's that. I'm trying to get this. Give me just a second. You guys will lose that in just a second. I'm trying to prioritize this. No. Trying to prioritize this device so we don't lose Wi-Fi. Then we're going to turn this off. Like that. So, who's here? There's only 2 people here. Man, that's that's discouraging. I was busting my ass trying to get this shit all set up, and there's no one here. I had a couple things I wanted to talk about, but I don't want to do it with just 2 people here. So, what are we talking about? Are you guys talking to each other? Because if there's just 3 of us here and you guys are talking to each other, I'm not going to stick around. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I know Jared's still alive. I was just saying, like, I might start doing these on Wednesday. I might start doing them later because it's like a lot of times it's like an hour of time where there's just no one here and there's like 2 of us and you guys are chatting with each other. Because I don't want to talk. I don't want to start a conversation and then have like 30 people show up and then I got to start the whole conversation over again. You know what I mean? It's not that I don't want to talk to you guys. I love the fact that Will and Aiden are here. It's just that, you know, if we start the conversation that I want to talk about, I basically have to do it all over again when Jared's crew starts showing up. So that's what we'll start doing. I'm just gonna start asking Jared what time does he actually end, and then stop. I'll stop starting at 7:30 because we're gonna start talking about some stuff because I had some stuff I want to talk about. What do I eat? I eat what the doctor told me I can eat, which is not fucking anything. That's why I'm so frustrated. I'm eating fruit and I'm eating vegetables and I'm eating salad. And I'm not eating anything that the doctor told me I'm not supposed to eat. So first person that tells me, oh, the beans and ham, I'm blocking them. So I took the arms off the chair though. So we're not going to hear that creaking sound. But now I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm Ricky Bobby in it. So I don't know what's going on. So no, I fucking don't watch. Why? What did he do this time? What do you do now? You could go ahead and type it in. I'm not going to give him a lot of play, but I'm allowed to eat meat. I just have to be careful how much meat I can have. I'm eating meat. But I have to temper that with a lot of vegetables and stuff, which we already eat anyway. Rice and kimchi and stuff. I'm hoping that what this is just gas. It would be so good if I just let rip a good fart and then I'm like, oh, it's so much better. Screw him. I don't even want to talk. You know what? I'm not even going to talk. I'm not even going to talk about it. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about it. Here's the thing. Like Morgan Freeman said about racism the one time. He says, the best thing you could do to get rid of racism, stop talking about it. Stop talking about it. So my way forward on this, you know what? I'm just not going to talk about it. It's mind over matter. I don't mind because he doesn't fucking matter. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised. Steve said he was going to call him out because Steve, as much as Steve and I butt heads on so many topics, Steve's a good dude. And Steve saw Shane's post. I don't follow him on Instagram. So if it was on Instagram, I don't know. If it was on YouTube, that dude should sell McDonald's burgers because he's a fucking clown. I have news for you. There's a lot of people that I'd be, I'd have no problem, no problem saying it, like, you know what, come on. I wouldn't really want to fuck with Steve. That's an angry dude. And he's not a little dude either. So I don't know. He's my take on RW EDC is I think he's just a clout chaser, and he's going to say anything he can to try and get. He says he's not doing it for views. So I honestly don't care. Here's the thing. You know why I never mentioned, like, you guys never really heard what happened. The entire thing happened on Thanksgiving. It was part of the thing for the knife rates, 24-hour thing. You guys don't need to know about that. You guys don't need to know anything about what happened. Shane put it up. Now, I did talk to, like, the people that were part of that group. I was like, can you believe the hypocrisy of this dude after what he did here? And that's when Shane posted up his Instagram post. So, dude's he needs to find Jesus, and he needs to find something in his life to better it. And he's just not doing it. He's indulging in the things that are not good. So, but we don't want to talk about that because this isn't TMZ. That's why I said I was going to address it in the first couple minutes of the last live feed, and I said I wasn't going to do it anymore. I have something interesting, you guys. I know you probably saw this on Jared's channel. This is very interesting. We're going to talk about it as soon as it's not the same group of people that are going to see it on my Gilded server. So I'm not a fan of the sheath sometimes, though. I will say, out of the sheath is the big thing. Like, that's great. If I have to fuck around with it to get it back in the sheath, that's not such a big deal. It was like, oh, going back in the sheath is such a pain. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what? Do I really care how fast I get it back in the sheath? Out of the sheath, it's smooth. It's buttery. It's the going back. Anytime you have a knife that's shaped like this, back in the sheath, it's going to be. I will say, if you were going to get an Emerson, that's Elvia. That's what it is, not the Elvira. Elvira. So I wouldn't mind getting to see that one. My buddy on Instagram, Adam Chavez, not Adam Chavez. Is it Adam Chavez? At any rate, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He had one. He said he was going to send it to me for sharpening. He didn't, and I haven't got to see. He keeps telling me it's just a matter of inconvenience. We keep talking about sharpening. I was going to sharpen all day today, and I've been having problems with my guts, and I had to pick the kid up. You ready for another one? Okay, so there's 4 people here. You ready for this? On top of the fact, I think that I'm having another flare up, and I might wind up in the hospital again with my guts. My daughter's coach has COVID, and so we just got notified that the coach has COVID. So we've all been exposed to COVID. And so I have to quarantine until Thursday. And we have the at-home tests. And as long as I don't pop for COVID before Thursday, everything's good. But my daughter is going to Disneyland on Friday. So I'm fingers crossed. She has not got to do anything for so long. And I just want to get her to go. And I have to drive her up there. So I'm hoping that everything goes well. She doesn't go till Friday. She's going on Friday. So, but here's the thing. So she got exposed to COVID. So on Monday, so we have to do the obligatory, wait a few days and see, and test. As long as we don't test positive within the next few days, she's fine. Her friend almost broke his toe. And so he doesn't know if he's going to go. One of the kids doesn't know if they're going to go. And so, it's just been miserable. It's like when it rains, it pours. And like I said, I can feel that discomfort. That is the very obvious. I remember that feeling, and I'm like, please just be poop. Please just be a big poop that needs to come out. Luke Cole, what's going on? Well, I haven't gotten a chance to sharpen everything. I didn't get any sharpening done today because I had to pick my wife up. I had to pick my kid up from the ice rink, and then I had to drop my kid's skates off for sharpening, and then I had to come back here, and then we found out about the COVID thing, so we had to get the COVID tests, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me with all this. And if it's loud, I apologize. Garage door's open. I don't know why it went from 72 to, well, I do know why, because I got all the fucking lights on now. So hopefully it's going to cool down out here. It's a little bit warm in the shop. I'm not going to talk about the subject I want to talk about until we get more people here. So I had already said that. So when people start straggling in from Jared's stuff, we'll talk about what's everybody carrying today. I'm just curious. What's everybody got in pocket today? Now I got to find it. I had in my pocket today. Well, I had this. Yeah. It's been a garbage week. I had that in my pocket, but I was also carrying I changed pants. I put on track pants. I didn't want to sit out here for 2 hours in the garage in a pair of jeans. I broke this out and carried it for a little bit today. So I had this in pocket for part of the day because I didn't have any. I didn't have anything going on. I didn't have anything here. I didn't have any testing or anything I was going to do. I sat in the garage most of the day trying to figure out. I sat out here and I was like, my stomach, what the fuck? And I responded to some emails, went through my email, a bunch of other stuff, built thumbnails for videos that are going up and stuff like that. So I didn't have a lot of tests, so I didn't have any of Jared's knives in my pocket, but I had. This is why I have a hard time filming sometimes. You guys hear the jets? Let's see here. Ooh, Valona. Man, I can't wait till my Valona comes back from Cole. He has had that thing for a while. If you're listening, Tri-State EDC.
Hurry the fuck up with my knife.
So yeah, the Valona is such a good knife. I do have to say that you definitely need to put a little bit of Loctite on the pivot screw. You definitely do. But then again, I'm not going to say too much about it because I absolutely have to put Loctite on this pivot screw. So like, I'm not going to complain about something in a $49 knife, $48 knife that I also have to do with $1,000 knife. But this is so good. So glad this is back in my pocket. I am so glad that I don't have that garbage knife in my pocket anymore. Rocky Mountain Bear is here. Did you guys see we got a new paying member? Pete something customs. I can't think of it. Pete is one of the paying members now. I helped him figure out how to get in. I need a stonewash blade so I can get it ceramic coated. You don't want a stonewash blade for ceramic coating. For ceramic coating, you want to blast that blade and then ceramic coat it. And if you're going to do it, send it to Cerberus. Chris does about the best. Yeah, Parker's a new paying member. He just joined the Gilded server too. So yeah, I taught Chris up at Cerberus how to do that, and he's got so much tied into it. He does it like literally does parts every day. So he's doing like 30 knives a day with that ceramic. So he's got that figured out. So if I was going to have anything ceramic coated, that's who I would have do it. I need to go up and use his anodizing setup to re-anodize this. So guys, I drank so much water. I was so thirsty today. I I drank so much water. I think I have to take a leak again. We're only 15 minutes into this. So there's 8 people here. 10 people here. F-35s. F-18s and F-35s flying over. That's more light than I want. I don't want that light on. You know what? If I'm gonna have to sit here, I don't want to sit here and look at that light. So yeah, people are starting to show up. I was gonna talk about something. So I had to take some comments down. I did that video about tactical knives, and there were some people that got. I didn't take them down because I didn't like the. I didn't take them down because I didn't like the idea of what they were saying. It's how they said it. They were being extremely unpleasant in the comment section about like, what do you, how are you saying that a folding knife isn't a tactical knife and this and that, and the SEALs use this and they carry this. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to tell you right now, like, am I going to make a larger version of the sea snake? Probably not. I don't think I'm probably going to make any more knives. I don't know what the fuck's going on. If you want a larger version of it, you know what you need to do? You need to get a hold of Artisan and start hitting them up on their posts about the sea snake and just tell them, like, send them emails, whatever you want. Like, send, I don't know, send it to their customer service email. Like, hey, I want a larger version of the sea snake. They get enough of them, they're going to probably do it. I've mentioned doing a larger version of the sea snake, but at this point right now, I don't have that kind of energy. I got too many other things going on in my life to worry about that. I'm really like that. Like, getting that sick really kind of put things in perspective. I'm really focusing on things that are important. I'm spending more time with my daughter. I'm doing the stuff I want to do. The channel does take priority, and I'm not pushing. I don't. Do you want to know what I've probably made in total on the entire run of all my knives? About $6,000. That's all the knives that I've had made and produced. Probably maybe $6,000. Period. That's all of the stonefish and all of the sea snakes. Over the last 5 years, I've made $6,000 probably. That's at the most. So I didn't make $1,000. I didn't make $1,000. I didn't make $1,000 last year on the sea snake, or the sea snake. So why would I put that much work into it if there's not going to be that much return? Like, I'm going to put a lot of work into that and getting it done and making sure the design is checking the stuff, getting prototypes in and making sure they're good, all that stuff. When I definitely make more per month on YouTube than I will in probably a year on that knife design. It's not, I mean, it has nothing to do with them or anything like that. It's just, you know, a $30 knife. You have to sell a lot of them to make any money. And I don't want that knife to be expensive. I wanted it to be a readily available design. It wasn't something that I knew I didn't think I was going to get rich on it. I just wanted to have that design out there. What do you want, cat? Hey, come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, you're a piece of shit. Parker. Here's the thing. I don't make shit on YouTube either, but I definitely make more per month than I will in any given year on that knife design. So I gotta let the cat in. So guys, I am going to... You get paid more on OnlyFans to keep on your clothes. I have actually thought about doing an OnlyFans and just seeing how it, but I looked at it. It's complicated to get it set up. So if people are starting to roll in, I, honest to God, have got to take a leak. I'm sorry, I hate to do this. I will be right back. I have to let the cat in because the cat doesn't want to have shit to do with me. He just wants to go in and see the wife. And I probably drank a gallon of water here in the last like 3 hours. I have got to go to the toilet. Let me let the cat in, and then we're going to talk about tactical knives. What are truly tactical knives? Okay, can you guys give me that moment? Don't let anybody leave. You guys stay. Like, close the doors. Keep everybody in here. I'll be right back. I shall be right back. And I'm back. I have returned. What do you guys think about Scout Carry? Scout Carry is probably the best. And Aiden, by the way, I meant to do this. Thank you very much. No, they didn't. They did, and then they didn't. They did, and then they didn't. That was the thing. So, hi, give me a bike. I promise to behave. Well, that's good because I told everybody because I'm having problems with my gut again, and the first person that starts telling me about beans and ham and shit, I'm putting them in timeout because I haven't had any, and my guts are all fucked up again. And I'm really hoping that I don't have to go back to the hospital. So what I was saying earlier, so I did that video about 5 fast, 5 tactical knives, and it hasn't even went up yet, and I was already getting comments. So I did the 5 fast self-defense knives, and then I did the video about the tactical knives, and I got comments on the self-defense knives, and they're like, "Oh, I thought you were saying the tactical," because there was like the original image was like before I made the thumbnail for it. It was just a bunch of folding knives on the thing. So, so I started getting those comments, and then I started getting all those comments on the 5 fast tactical knives that we did. What was that last? When was that one? Hang on, let me look, and I'll tell you when we did that. It was channel dashboard. Content. So I did 5 fast. Did I do it 5 fast? It was tactical knives. I did. Yeah, 5 fast tactical knives. Tactical folders. And I mentioned in there, like I said, that I don't think folding knives are actually tactical. I just don't. A tactical knife is never going to be a folding knife because anything you want that's tactical is going to be something that you want to remove any element of failure from. I don't have a fox karambit, David. I don't have a fox karambit. So I did that video and I got a bunch of ugly, hateful, and then I did the thing where I was talking about self-defense knives, which is the video that goes up Friday. And the initial thumbnail, when I put it up and I set it up for Premiere, because I started doing the premieres again, I want to see how that changes the how the videos perform. And I don't really think it's going to make that much of a difference, but I did it without for a while. I saw an increase, and I'm going to do it with and see if we see an increase. So about a month or so. At any rate, so I get all these people that are like, "Oh, I thought you said that folding knives couldn't be tactical," and I was like, "I didn't say tactical. I said self-defense. You know, that's a different thing." So since we're in between those videos, the 5 fast tactical knives and the 5 fast self-defense tools or self-defense knives, I'm going to show you what a tactical knife actually looks like. That is a tactical knife. Now, this is a big, beefy tactical knife. This is a very large knife. This is the M4 by Lion Steel. Really, really good. Really secure. No failure. Nice sheath. You can scout carry it. You can horizontal carry it. You can lash it to your gear. It's got multiple points. It's got a pouch if you wanted to put a sharpening stone in it and things like that. Those are all elements. A fixed blade knife is always going to be tactical. You know why? Because it's not going to fail. You want something that is I don't even have a Stonefisher at the house. I don't even have my Stonefisher. You want something that's going to be reliable. It's going to be solid. It's going to be something you can do multiple things with. This thing is thick enough you can pry a door open with it. The Cold Steel SRK, I actually did pry a Humvee door open with it. This would also fall in that realm of a tactical fighting knife. It has all the trappings. This would be something that's very good. You've got a reverse grip. You could Pikal grip it, which that's a Pikal knife is designed so that you can the Pikal grip, which is the edge in, blade down. So when people go on, people just they get so wrapped around what has become fun. Yeah, I know. Great. Yeah, it's an amazing tactical knife. Great, thanks. That's what I designed it for. It's why I gave it to SEALs to test, and they don't make it anymore. So like, it wouldn't be a great plug because I don't make any more money on it. Why am I plugging a knife that is never going to get any? I already got paid for those knives. Plugging something that's never going to get sold again seems kind of silly. I would love to see everybody grab them and have them. But this could also fall into the range of tactical. This is that little Pikal that came in. And I really wanted more people here for this because I know what's going to happen is Jared's going to break and there's going to be like 30 people show up and they're like, hey, what are we talking about? I'm like, you're going to have to go watch it again. But this is that Pikal knife. This is what kind of initiated that video that goes up on Friday. This is a purpose-built self-defense tool. The guy that designed it actually got attacked one time, and this is the knife he had said he wished he had. So this is a really, really cool tool. And instead of having to like have a knife that you're typically using and then reverse your grip and then use it that way, this has no failure point because it's a fixed blade. It comes out of the sheath really easy. And then you're basically just locked into a grip where you can just do this. Now, I want you to picture, and I talk about it in the video, this is like if you get someone down, if somebody gets you down and you've got this and you pull this out of your pocket, I'm going to put this against your arm and I'm just going to pull. I'm going to put this against your ribs and I'm going to pull. I'm going to put this on your back and I'm going to pull. And I'm going to shred you without having any real, I'm going to put this on your leg and I'm going to pull it in and then I'm going to go down your ribs. I'm going to cross your back. I'm going to go down your arm. I'm going to go across your arm. I'm going to go across your face. I'm going to, anything I can touch. I'm going to, yeah, exactly. I'm going to hammer fist the shit out of you and then drag. I'm going to go in and drag as much as I can, as long as I can, as long as I need to, because guess what? You know who fights fair? The loser. So, people got this mixed up thing with tactical versus self-defense, all this stuff. And I'm like, why are you so butthurt about me calling something out? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. So yeah, there's a video that's going up. The reason I wanted to do it was because I knew this was coming. And I have some other knives that fall into that self-defense realm. So but I will say, like, if you don't have one of these, the best self-defense tool you have is the one you got. So I just think that this is just very, very good as a self-defense item. And I mean, just the way it sits in your hand, it's just automatic. Only if you promise to send help when I get myself stuck in a doorway. Lonely Stacker is here. What's up, Lonely Stacker? Rocky, what? Big facts. So, I don't want to talk. I know that people are probably going to ask, like, the whole thing that's going on with 2A stuff. I am a staunch 2A supporter, and all I will say is, if the government was so good at controlling anything, then we wouldn't have drugs in our schools, drugs on our streets, drugs in our prisons, because guess what? If you want to go by that logic, if you are going to say that we're going to make certain things illegal, then therefore they shouldn't be in public society, right? Because I want to know, if that's the case, why my crackhead neighbor at 2 o'clock in the morning was outside with no shoes on, one sock on, vacuuming out the inside of a fucking dirty ass fucking beat up fucking car that doesn't even have windows. Like the window is busted out of it. So that tells me that they're not real efficient at getting these things out of the way. So that tells me that the only people that would follow those rules are the law-abiding citizens. I just don't see the common sense in disciplining. I didn't see this when I was in the military too. Like one guy at your unit gets in trouble, the entire unit suffers the consequences. I never saw any sense in that. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So you're going to punish millions and millions of people for the indiscretions of a couple. Nah, I'm not digging that. I don't fucking dig that at all. I'm for that. Yeah, I'm also 100% for let's just take the fucking labels off of shit and let nature take its course. I'm saying, like, I don't want to see anyone addicted to drugs and sick and ill. My mom was addicted to opiates at one point in her life, and it was a really miserable time in her life, and she got off of them. But like, at some point we have to look at it and go, what are we going to do? Criminals will always break the law. You know what else? Aiden. Yeah, natural selection. We need to get Darwin back involved in society. I'm like, the war on drugs, how did that wind up? I really don't see it. And the fact is that in any given weekend, millions of law-abiding citizens that own firearms shot 0 people. None. 0. I have firearms. Guess what? They've never jumped up and shot anyone while I was gone. They didn't do anything on their own. You're vilifying an inanimate object. You cannot legislate evil. You can't legislate the evil in the hearts of men. And if you want proof of that, go look at England. England outlawed firearms. Then they outlawed pocket knives. Then they outlawed, you can't have anything. There are literally posts of the police saying, look at all these weapons we confiscated. And it's like pliers and scissors and screwdrivers. And I'm like, that's just a dude that was walking around the corner to help his buddy fix a bicycle. And you just confiscated his screwdriver. So it says, I'm like, this is ridiculous. And everybody's like, why is this the only country where this happens? And I'm like, you do know that we actually, when you look at the world scale, we are 11th when it comes to death by mass shootings. We're not even in the top 10. I mean, that's not a scale. It's not a contest that we really want to win. But what I'm saying is, like, these things, it's just this things that people say. I'm like, and with absolutely no thought to even look something up. So I looked it up. Somebody was like, right. I was arguing with somebody on social media about it. They were like, well, you live in a country where, like, this seems to happen. Like, why does it only happen there? It's like, it happens there every time. And I'm like, we're 11th on the world stage. 11th. There are 10 other countries that are well above us, and they're countries that people say, oh, we should be modeling ourselves after in Europe. So, and in countries where firearms are illegal. So that should tell you something right there. Firearms are already illegal in those countries. So that's my take on it. I am unapologetically pro 2A. I do agree with background checks. I do agree that, yes, if you are a violent criminal, you should not have a firearm. But I also believe that if you are not a violent criminal and you're an American citizen, you should absolutely have the right to have a firearm to protect yourself, because we already know, given what happens in Europe where they don't have firearms, they still have a lot of gun violence. So if gun laws worked, Chicago wouldn't be a shithole. Swagger stick. So a swagger stick is a swagger stick is a walking stick that it was called a swagger stick because people would carry it, and it was like they were swaggering around. But it was a walking stick that had a lot of swagger sticks had a brass cap on the end. They were really heavy, and you could just stove somebody's head in with it. So, yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. Like it already works. A swagger stick. Actually, you know what? Let's look it up. I'll bring up a page of it. Swagger stick. Images. Swagger stick was like a tactical walking stick. The Marines used them. And here, let's bring up an image. And so they were the Marines had them. They were a walking stick that Marines had. Let's see here. Share a screen. Share a screen. Chrome tab. This one. That's what a swagger stick looks like. That's a USMC Marine Corps souvenir pick rank up to 1-star general swagger stick. The British military, if you ever watch like the British guys, like the guy that's out in front, he's got the stick, like he's the band leader, like he's the parade guy, but sometimes so he had the small stick, like usually the sergeant would carry one. It was like a sign of rank. It was something you had, but it was club. So there's a swagger stick. That's what you want. So, see, you say that, Lonely Stacker, but if you were to look at it, Dodge City couldn't carry guns in town. Tombstone couldn't carry guns in town. You say that, but in all actuality, during that period of time, there were actually more regulations in a lot of cities than there are right now. And it didn't work then. So there you go. I mean, if you want that back, you would actually have more restrictions. Well, New York is dumb. New York is dumb. There you go, like a field marshal's baton. Really similar. That's what a swagger stick is. Do you want the best argument for us to have a Second Amendment? Is the Ukraine. We had to send weapons to Ukraine to give to their citizens, to arm themselves. I'm just saying, I should be allowed to have, you know, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't think it's going to work. It's a very polarizing issue, especially with the rise in crime that's going on in this country. To then say that you're going to take away firearms from law-abiding citizens that they're using them to defend themselves. So, I think that the problem is when you isolate yourself into an echo chamber. Like I'm a fairly, like a lot of people are like, oh, you're far right. You're a far right conservative. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm actually fairly middle of the road. I have left-leaning ideas. Like I believe that we should have some centralized healthcare. Some. I'm not saying like everything is free. I'm saying some. We should have. So it should not cost. It should not bankrupt someone to go to the hospital because they got sick. But I also believe that we should not have such big government and spending. Like at some point, you have to come into the middle of that. And so if you're not on board with everything, then you're far right. And I'm like, I just can't live with that. I just can't live with that severe limitation of a mindset. So I just think it's ridiculous to think that. And then the other thing that I would like everyone to look at what happened to every country that took away the firearms from their population. There's a very, very apt quote, and I can't remember who did the interview, but they did it with Castro. He's like, what do you do with a population after you've unarmed them? And Castro looked at the reporter and smiled and said, anything I want. That in itself should be terrifying. The fact that those words were uttered, and then you look at the things that happened in Cuba. What do you do with the population after you have unarmed them, after you've disarmed them? And he looked at the reporter, let me say it again, anything I want. Mao, Hitler, Castro, South American countries, that's the best argument for it. The best argument for you wanting to, you're getting to have guns, is the fact that the government doesn't want you to. I worked for the government for a lot of years, for pretty much my entire adult life. I don't trust them with anything. So I would like to see, I think I saw it, I forget, I think it was Project Veritas or one of those other news agencies, the guerrilla news agencies. They picked out all these people that were saying, you know, talking about getting rid of firearms, and people don't need firearms to defend themselves and stuff like that. And so they went and they asked them if they would put these signs in their yard saying, yeah, this is an unapologetically gun-free zone. There are no guns in this house. And these people are like, absolutely not. What are you trying to make me a target? It's like, so that's what you want to do to the rest of the country? Like you're this is what you want to do with the rest of the country? And I'm like, I don't have time for Paul tonight. I'm not in a good mood, Polly. You have started off on a bad start. Yeah, it's like, if that's the way you feel, then you should publicly display it, but they don't want to. So Polly's not going to answer because I put Polly in timeout. Let's see. What else would I want to talk about? I have a story I wanted to tell you guys. It's kind of funny. There are times that my sister and I like to do things. I have a brother-in-law. Get a kick out of this. What's this? I just blew up Trixie, oiled myself up. I have a Polish sausage and an ice cube. I can now go to bed. Good night. Good night, Maurice. Jesus. Oh, let's see here. That's what I'm saying. Just look historically at populations that have had their access to firearms removed, and look how badly it was. Primary like Cuba, some of the South American countries and stuff like that. But that's not what we're going to talk about. We're done with that too. Like I was saying, tactical knives. Tactical knives are never going to be, I don't know how we got off of that. Tactical knives are always going to be a good fixed blade. In my opinion, you can have your own opinion. You're entitled to it. I just don't have to agree with it, and I don't have to listen to it. So it's always going to be better to have something that's more reliable, not going to fail, not going to. The fact too is this, I don't have to do anything except pull it out of its sheath. I have to pull this out of my pocket. I got to deploy it. It's got a failure point. It might get dirty. It might get slippery. This is not going to. And this is a gorgeous knife. This is the, like I said, Lion Steel M4 that was a gift to us here at CrazySharp by Winston Cobretti. And I really, really dig this knife. I have not had to sharpen it yet, but it has gotten a good bit of use since it came in. I'm going to have to clean it up. I believe I have a little bit of rust forming on the spine of this. Always ready to go. They typically, you can do things with a fixed blade knife you cannot do with a folding knife. I can jam this down and pound this into something and use it as a tie-off for something if I need to. It's a big, big knife. If I jam that and pound that into a log or something, I now have a tie down for something if I need it. I can jam this part way through a a stick if I need to and make myself a small hatchet or axe. I can tether this to something and use it as a spear if I need to. And I can use it as a bludgeoning tool. Steve, you were already a member. What happened, Steve? ST3VE, you were already a member. Rocky Mountain Bear, fancy to see you in the slums over here. It's not M390. That is what do they call this one? It's a type. It's Nilox, which is basically a N690. It's a type of N690, I guess. So guys, I wanted to mention this. If you're a paying member and you are not, I just need to know how many people are having trouble with the auto renewal, because I've had people complaining about that their memberships lapse. So I'm glad you renewed, because I still have got to scrub that membership tab. Oh, lowly stacker. Wild West was purchased freedom, made by your own self-worth, respect to everyone, everything around you. If you don't want to relinquish guns, you took something else or just lied. No leaders, lead yourselves. I can kind of get behind that. I would go along with the thing like it wasn't this equity versus equality. But here you go. Hey, check this out. There you go, Lowly Stacker. Thank you very much. The big thing is these days, like I was explaining to my daughter about equity versus equality. Equality, everyone has the same and equal chance. Equity, everyone has the same and equal outcome. But the problem with that is there's a lot of people that will look around and go, why should I do anything? This guy's already doing it. Would I make a custom? I have made customs, and there's no chance I'm making a custom anytime soon. I have a small little Kuridashi that I got to make for Aiden. I haven't even gotten around to that. I'm a speed controller. My inline speed controller for that grinder, shit the bed. It does not work, and I can't grind at only one speed. I will burn everything up. Grinding everything at full speed when you start progressing through grit is not a good idea. So right now, I have to figure out if that's still if I can still get a replacement for that, because I have not had it all that long. So I reached out to the company. I haven't heard anything back yet. I'm hoping I'm going to take it apart. I'm hoping it's just like a little fuse. I'm hoping there's a fuse that's blown in it. It blew before, but the fuse that's in the back didn't blow. I think something inside that blew. So I just don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I may have to send Aiden back his money, because if I look at having to buy another speed controller or installing a full-on speed controller for that grinder, it's just going to be more money than I've got to spend. We don't have any wiggle room right now in our budget for much anything right now. I got a kid that requires cost and stuff like that. So, I haven't even been able to get sharpening done. I had to reach out to a bunch of sharpening customers and tell them, like, hey, every time I get ready to do something sharpening, something comes up. Like I said, my guts are bothering me again. I imagine I'm going to have to go see the doctor sometime soon. So, but at any rate, Luke Cole. There you go. I'm afraid that that's what it is. If it's a MOSFET, I can probably put a new one in. I've got a buddy that can program it for me. So it just doesn't control the speed, like no matter what I do. So I don't think it's a fuse, because if it was a fuse, I wouldn't get any power through it. So there's something else at play. So the was a Variac. Yeah, the Variac that controls the adjustable resistor. It's just not doing anything. Like, it just runs at full speed. I'm like, this doesn't work for me. John's back online. Hey, John. So if you guys don't follow Grateful Panic, you probably should. I don't know. He hasn't put up a lot of content. Man, this thing is nice. This was a gift from one of y'all. This thing is nice. I dig this. I dig this. Yeah, this would fall into that tactical category that we were talking about. So more people here. Just keep Aiden's money. That's not fair. Aiden paid me for a knife, and if I can't deliver, I have a knife that's partially complete that I still have to grind, and I can't. That's the same problem. I can't do what I need to do with what I've got. So, is that a Buck Classic? That is the 119 Special. So this is the Buck 119 Special. This is the Scream knife. This is the exact same knife that they used in the movie Scream. Guys, actually, you know what? My gut feels like, nah, it still hurts. I'm like, hey, it feels like it's, nope. It's sensitive to the touch, which is what makes me think I'm going to have to go back. So I'm not looking forward to that. My fucking neighbors, those fucking crackheads. I was telling you, like, it was either last night or the night before. I was out here. I couldn't sleep, and I was doing something like fucking 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what is all that fucking noise? And this crackhead, meth head neighbor of mine is out there. Pressure sensitive. Rebound's not good. Rebound means if it's rebound pain, then I have to go immediately. I already know all this. So I hear all this noise, and no, literal crackheads. I'm pretty sure they're doing meth over there. So at like fucking 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm hearing all this noise, and they're arguing in front of their house. And the fucking one chick's out there with no shoes on, only one sock, vacuuming a car that the windows are busted out of. And I was like, what the fuck? There's always that one house. Like everybody just, when they walk by, they just look at it and shake their heads. You know, there's always that one family. That's gonna piss me off. Can you guys hear it, or is it just me? Like, I don't know if you guys can hear that. I would have recorded it, but you know, it's very obvious when you're outside of your garage. It's obvious when you're outside of your garage at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning with your phone and looking in their direction that you're filming them. So yeah, we have that family here. What happens when the bathtub explodes? You really want to be next to that? Oh, it's catty corner. It's not right next to us. It's not like this. Like, Anthony's great. Anthony works like he's on meth. Anthony works 12-hour days, 6 days a week. And I was like, wow. I was like, what, you just try to eat up overtime? He's like, no, he's like, I work 12-hour days Monday through Friday. Saturdays we have to do at least 6. And I'm like, wait, you have to do 12-hour days? And he goes, yeah. I'm like, how is that even legal? And he goes, it is. They fire people for it all the time. And I was like, wow. I just didn't know if you guys could hear the music, because I can definitely hear the music. It's Mo. Yeah. Somebody's getting smacked in the face with a bat. Sometimes people just need a high five in the face with a chair. Oh, I don't know. See, here's the thing. I see him rolling. I see him taking stuff in and out of that house all the time. I would imagine that they might be making it there. So, Zachariah. Okay, I have to ask everybody, because everybody knows that I do indulge, and I'm about to, in the devil lettuce. So I have a question for you. What is your go-to viewing for when you are all baked up on the devil lettuce? For those of you do. Because I have a couple that I don't let it slam. It's really loud on this microphone if you slam it. So I have a couple videos that are my movies that are my go-to. There's a handful of them. So go ahead and tell me what's your go-to movie, like on a Friday night. You're not going anywhere. You're just hanging out with your just hanging out at the house. What movie are you going to throw on? Like, it's like something that you watch all the time. I woke up to a random couple screaming at each other and drive the cops. Napoleon Dynamite. All the heavy metal cartoon. Hey, that's a good one. Half Baked. I can't watch Half Baked. It's like I can't watch it anymore. Like I watched it the other day and I was like, it's funny, but it's just not like. I think the memory of watching Half Baked is funnier than watching Half Baked. Big Lebowski. That's a good one. Uncle Buck. I'll tell you what mine on anything Mel Brooks. That's Men in Tights. Men in Tights is really good. Boondock Saints. That's another. Uncle Buck. You know, it's the only John Candy movie I've never watched. I have never watched. I watch. You ready for this? My go-to is a couple of movies. I watch Chariot of the Gods, the one that gets mentioned all the time in Ancient Aliens. It's so entertaining. Cheech and Chong, not Up in Smoke, Still Smoking. Cheech and Chong, Still Smoking. So good. Cheech and Chong's next movie. And then I'm really, really famous for just putting on watchmaking videos. Like, I'm not into watches. I ask Nick all the time. I was like, hey, I saw that watch. It's a good looking watch. He's like, don't get into watches. And I'm like, I'm not going to get into watches. I don't even have a watch on right now. So I'm not really into watches, but I definitely enjoy. Watching watchmaking videos. There's a couple chats. You got Wristwatch Revival, Naked Watchmaker, and then I can't think of the other one. I watched that. But this leads me into something because this is a family story. I like the lock-picking. I was getting ready to say I like the lock-picking lawyer as well. Here when I was in the hospital, and I wasn't just out of my gourd on opiates because I was in a lot of pain, I was texting back and forth with my sister. And when I was a kid, we used to do this, and I don't know who hasn't seen Boondock Saints. I've seen Boondock Saints. I've watched Boondock Saints a lot. I didn't like the second one that much, but I've seen. Who are you talking to, Rocky Mountain? So anyway, we used to have this thing. So there were a couple nights a week where it was family, and so I think it was Sunday nights. Sunday nights there were 3 shows that we would watch religiously. So you had Nova. This was all PBS. Nova, and then Nature, and then Marty Stauffer's Wild America. And that gave you about an hour and a half. And by then it was about bedtime. Kids would go to bed. Dad had finished his crossword puzzle. Mom would do whatever it was she needed to do. And we would sit and we would watch that. And so PBS on Sunday was always those 3 shows. But there was one night a week, and it was usually on Wednesday, where one of us, and it would rotate, would get to pick what we would watch on Wednesday night. We had a VCR, so if there was something else that everybody else wanted to watch or somebody else wanted to watch, you would record that and you could watch it later. But everyone watched that, and it was one night a week you got your pick. And so it was Wednesday night, and I forget, there was always something fun on Wednesday night. So if it was my dad, it was like Cheers, and you could just pick like several shows. Like it was your night to pick what everybody watched, and you didn't have to like necessarily watch it. Like I'd read books and stuff, but we were all together as a family. So my sister still lives with my mother. Her and her husband live with my mother. They're her primary caregivers, and they still kind of do this. And so they take turns getting to pick what's going to get watched. And they're like, I think it's Saturdays. And so my sister, I was in the hospital, and my sister was like, she's saying, well, they never like my picks. She's like, I just really should pick something to mess with them. And because I have a brother-in-law, as a good brother-in-law, I like to make his life miserable. And she said, so I'm watching this because my sister's big into World War II history. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch this documentary. And I was like, too bad you're not watching I was like, too bad you didn't find something like a World War II documentary about carrier pigeons and the trials and tribulations and the dangers that the carrier pigeons and the pigeon handlers had to endure in World War II. And I was like, it could be called Warbirds. And she was like, oh my God, that would be great. And so I just look and I was like, is there a World War II pigeon? There is a hour and a half long documentary called Birds of War. And it's about bird handlers and carrier pigeons in World War II. And so I found a link to that and I sent that to her. And she's like, oh my God, I love you so much right now. She's like, I am so going to make them watch this. 2 hours later, I get a text from my brother-in-law. He goes, I know you had something to do with this. I was just like, yeah, goddamn right I did. Was this? I highly recommend the movie Escaped from Pretoria. It's based on a true story prison escape movie. It's fantastic. I watched the Steve McQueen. What was it? Where they're on Devil's Island? I can't remember the name of it. I actually bought that movie. Steve McQueen and Jesus Christ, I can't think of it. Papillon. I watched that movie the other day. That's a really good movie if you just want to kill an entire afternoon because it's long. It's a long movie. Not The Great Escape. Devil's Island, French Guiana. Caddyshack, that's another one. The Great Escape is more, it can be more comical. Like the Great Escape is the one with Clint Eastwood, and I forget who else was in it. I mean, it's based on the actual escape, but in all honesty, there's a lot of humor in that movie. I was just asking, I see your Schwartz is bigger than mine. I might watch that. House of 1,000 Corpses. Ooh, that's a potent one. Some other movies I like. Real Genius. Have you ever watched Real Genius with Val Kilmer? Where he's they're geniuses in college. What else do I watch? Dread, the one with Carl Urban, the Judge Dredd movie with Carl Urban. So there's a lot of times those movies are the same movies that I watch if I'm sharpening knives, because if you're out here sharpening knives, you really need to have something going on in the background. Paint dry and get entertained. I can't. Natural Born Killers. That's another one. Like I watched that. I own that digitally. But there's some movies that I own on multiple. Like I like. There's some movies I like enough that I own them. I've bought them way more than once. I have. I have Young Frankenstein on Blu-ray, DVD, and I own it digitally, so I can watch it anywhere. So like if I have a DVD player, I can put it in any one of the rooms. That way I don't have to like stop where I was at. I can just pause it, turn it off, and then turn the TV back on and unpause it. So yeah. And what's the other one I just got? Oh, Dazed and Confused. I could watch Dazed and Confused like every day, but there is a couple movies that I could like literally watch back to back, like just keep it on repeat. And one of them is the director's cut, the final cut of Blade Runner. I could watch that any day, anytime. Monty Python and Holy Grail. Yeah. Fear and Loathing. Here's the problem I have with Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is one of those movies that I always, like, he's leaving town the first time and Gary Busey pulls him over. And then that happens. And that's when I realize in my head, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, fuck, that's the halfway point. Like, that's not even that's only half of the fucking movie. So you'll be watching it. You're like, he's fucking, and then Gary Busey's like, could I get a little kiss? And then you remember that he's going to go to the fucking phone booth and he's going to call his lawyer. And then you're like, crap. The Life of Brian. Jehovah, Jehovah. I watched that with Nico, and I was really baked. And it was really funny for me because Nico's a Jehovah's Witness. And I sat there giggling the entire time because he had never seen Life of Brian. And I was giggling the entire time. And so we got to that point, and I was like, here's the scene. This is the scene. And he looked at me and goes, it's not that funny. And I couldn't breathe. I was over like, I can't breathe. That's the funniest thing ever. What We Do in the Shadows. I couldn't get into that. I watched it once. And it took me 3 times to watch it. Like, I'm like, I gotta stop. I can't watch this right now. It's just gonna be. Super Troopers is dangerous. If you're baked, Super Troopers is a dangerous movie to watch. David, while you are here. David. Speaking of over the top, my kid knows when I've reached my limit and I'm being serious, and she's got to listen because I Lincoln Hawk my hat. She's like, oh. I did it one time around her coach, and I turned my hat around backwards and I leaned in, and she got real straight. She's like, what was that? I was like, when she knows I'm not joking is when I Lincoln Hawk my hat. She goes, that is my favorite movie ever. David, I need to know what kind of stonewash you want on these. I have a tumbler here that I'm borrowing. I have a tumbler and tumbler media. So for a little bit, if anybody needs anything stonewashed, I will do it for you. Just stonewash. So I need to know whether you want a coarse stonewash or if you want me to do it with the small fine media for like a couple days. So the difference will be in price because that other one is much more expensive. So I bought a knife, and they have black flexible washers. Are those nylon or Teflon? What knife? I don't want to say what I was getting ready to say because in my head came the word, well, they're garbage. But I don't want to say that because I don't know what knife it is, because it could be that they're using a black. I can't remember which is the good one, nylon or Teflon. Amare Field Bro. I've never. Oh, God damn it! Now I got to do this. Amare Field Bro. Images. Chicago Knife Works. $76. I would say they are probably just cheap Teflon, or cheap nylon, the black nylon. Or they could. What you don't want is for it to be like a washer that is. I've seen people make them in black PVC, which is basically like the same thing your milk cartons are made out of. And they don't last very long. They feel cool. They feel good at first, but they're not very wear resistant. So it's a $76 knife, if I looked correctly. I don't know. At $76 at this point with a lot of companies, I'd be looking for. Well, let me actually click on it. Let me click on it and see what it says. We'll visit the site. It is VG10 stainless. Country of origin is China. Stainless steel thumb sets, pocket clip box. I don't see anything. Typically, you can find out what it's running on. Now, the question I have is, are those washers sitting on top of a brass washer? Because if it is, then that's a good thing, because you just got. Fuck! I always forget I'm behind because of phone calls. Delrin is better. But Delrin's not as frictionless. Delrin is typically used for beads and the actual bearing race. So they use the Delrin to put the washers in to make the race, because it retains its shape really well. It's not very prone to heat, deformation. It's pretty chemical resistant. Delrin's really good for a lot of things. It's really chemical resistant. So when you put the turn the ringer off. What ringer? Breeze. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, talking about his phone. Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry, I got into the lettuce, Breeze. And when I tell people, they're like, so what's that matter? It's like solvent resistant, chemical resistant. I was like, most people are putting lubricant in their knife. And so you got a petroleum product. A lot of times it's a solvent, unless it's something like KPL, which is an artificial oil. It's a synthetic. So you've got stuff that will do a lot of damage to a lot of plastics. And so typically, I think Teflon is pretty resistant. Nylon is not as resistant. Nylon has a tendency to dry up and get broken or crack and get hard. But the nice thing about like nylon or Teflon and Delrin, they're really chemical resistant. The problem with Teflon is you're buying stuff with Teflon. Teflon has basically poisoned the entire world. I don't even like buying lubricants that use Teflon, the PETF stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of people do use it because it works on out the fronts really well. But if you get that KPL ultralight, it works every bit as good. So it doesn't gum up, it doesn't get nasty like you get with if you put like nano oil inside an out the front, it gums up quick, and then you got to wind up having to spray jet spray gum out down in it, or put your thumb on the back and pour acetone in it and shake it around so you can clean off all that old dried up stuff. It's just sorry to derail your thoughts. You did it again. Like I was like, sorry to derail your thoughts. And I'm like, shit, what was I talking about? Because I turned off the thinking parts here just a minute ago. Use white lithium on everything. White lithium grease is great on washer knives. Fluorinated grease is better. But Teflon's a chemical that they used, and now there's not a person in the world that doesn't test for the very carcinogenic. Not carcinogenic. It was it caused birth defects in the town where they were making it, where they were dumping their waste, and they're like, it's perfectly safe. If you get, there's a documentary about it. So I used Delrin for a lot of silversmithing to protect designs on jewelry softer than steel, but tough enough to bend without making. Yeah, Delrin's some really good stuff. I forget what they were using Delrin pucks for stuff, but it is kind of slick. They use Delrin to make little sliders for furniture. I know that. Sometimes it's. What about REM oil? Well, REM oil is a PETF based lubricant, and I have some REM oil. I just don't use it anymore. I used REM oil on. That's what I was saying. REM oil is what most people use on OTFs because it really does work well. Microtech recommends it. I think that the KPL that KPL Ultralight works every bit as good, if not better. I just realized there's a horrible shadow on my face, so I am going to turn that light on. So there. Sorry about that. It's not professional. Delrin bushings. Yeah. I was just telling everybody, Grim Reaper, I was just telling everyone that there's a chance I'm going to wind up having to make an appointment with my doctor again. I'm having some abdominal pain again. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure what's going on with it. Very tough stuff and impregnable. Only it does. It has a low friction coefficient, but it doesn't really work real well on knives. That might be what's in that knife that he was talking about. It's possible, but I've never seen anybody just like making washers out of it, really. But I mean, you could use it. It's got a pretty low friction coefficient. It's also got all those qualities I mentioned, so it should work pretty good as a friction reducer. in a knife that might not have real good washers. You might be able to make some out of Delrin. Yeah, you guys know what I went to get. I heard a noise over there. Get that a little closer. So I just I definitely heard something back there. And like I said, we got crackheads in the neighborhood, so surprised you don't see Rulon washers very. I've never seen them myself. I've never seen them. So, well, my garage, it's because I had lights on because I was filming stuff. I had all my shop lights on. I have one light that's not working, so I borrowed an actual light, like a photography light to use. Jeez, it makes it hot. It was only 60 degrees to 64 degrees today. I got it all the way to like 78 degrees in the garage out here. And so, I've got the garage door about that far open, and I just picture a crackhead coming under the door. I got KPL for knives and Rem oil for my guns. I don't use Rem oil on my guns. You know what I use on my guns? Nano oil. The nano oil that came with my Norseman. The tube of nano oil that came with that has been relegated to my pew pew safe. That's what I use. I don't like the Teflon based oils, and I'll tell you why. I didn't like CLP. I didn't like CLP, and I didn't like. I don't know what I'm hearing. One of the cats might be messing around over there. I didn't like CLP for the same reason, is because after you leave it on for a while, it gums up and it varnishes up. And so same reason I don't like Frog Lube or KPL or CLP, I mean, on a knife. Over time, that Teflon, the base oils and stuff evaporate, and then you're left with a sticky coating, and you can't. CLP was hot trash. You know what I would do? I would forget to. Okay, so David knows what I'm talking about. There is my daughter's throwing laundry down the laundry chute, and it's echoing back. That's what I'm hearing. So David knows this. In the military, you use CLP. All your weapons get clean with CLP, and CLP is really good for some things. The base oil is really good. It's very, very thin, and it gets down inside the pores of the steel, and it lifts the carbon out and helps you clean it. The best way to clean a gun is to give it a quick clean. If you're the armorer, you can get away with this for your weapon. My weapon was always great. So you coat it really good with CLP, let it sit for a little bit, brush it down, wipe it off, then wipe it back down again. Like, it's still going to leave like all the time, like, it's still dirty, take it back. Mine would go in the rack partially dirty, and I'd just cover it with CLP, and I put it in there. I'd come back to the armory the next day, and I would clean my weapon, and it would come out great because overnight that CLP lifted all that carbon up out of there. This info is false. It is not. Paulie, I was a fucking armorer. You know this. You worked for me. But the problem is that CLP does allow that stuff to evaporate. If you put your guns in storage, if you put firearms in storage, and you've got CLP on them, you can have where it gets sticky, and then you got to fight with that to clean it up with a solvent. So my solution was I just wouldn't get the stuff put on order. And I had VVL 800, which is the same base oil as CLP without the Teflon. It's made by Royal Lubricants in England. It's the same company that made CLP break free. So I just like the CLP better, or the VVL 800. VVL 800 was an option. And there was some stuff like you can't use CLP on. The reason we had it in the stock system was you can't use CLP on submarines. So it's in the stock system. So I would just always order. The VVL 800 and have a couple cans as a substitute, and I would substitute even if we didn't have it. I was work center supervisor. I could make substitutions. Can I give my recommendation for a rust prevention? KPL makes if you don't want something oily. Let me grab that. Okay, I took my arms off of this. Now when I try to stand up, I try to grab them, but I don't like it creaking. So KPL, buddy Ryan over at KPL is I can't stand the smell of Ballistol, Alexander. If you could, like, Like I would absolutely go. Somebody brought a bottle of spray, Ballistol to the knife shop one time. And he was like, yeah, well, if you need it, we can clean this out with this. And I was like, get that shit out of here. Don't even spray that. I hate the smell of it. So this is KPL Knife Shield, and it's got a wax component to it. So you shake it up real good. You shake it up really good, and you spray it on. You leave it on for a few seconds, then you wipe it off. It's a lot like what was the spray? The spray stuff that everybody in the knife world had for a while, and then they flipped out when they stopped making. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Kind of the same thing. But it leaves a little bit of a coating on it that will prevent rust. And I mean, if you're just doing it every week or so, wiping it down, this should work. I've been using it on the D2 knives that I've been carrying lately. And I can't get Justin to make sweatshirts with my design, let alone I have one shirt with the PDM on it, and that's not even on there yet. So I can't get him to, but I can't blame him. He's like, because guess what? No one's buying them. So like, why would he make more shirts? No one's buying the ones I got already. It's being tested at the world's most rust prevalent place, Lefty EDC. I know. I haven't talked to him lately. He called me though. He was talking with John about knives, and he goes, hey, if we get these knives built up and stuff, would you be able to do the grinding? And I was like, I don't think so. I don't have, like, I can't do it all here with this little grinder. There's so much more stuff. Like they wanted me to, they were going to get the stuff like blown out, water jetted or whatever, and then I was going to finish the knives. It's just, I can't, like that grinder's not reliable. The power supply is not reliable. It only has one speed. If the speed controller's broke, it has one speed, and that's on. So in my PCP air bangers, Ballistol is the only thing I'll clean them with. The smell is not very polite. That's true. But I'm saying there's things that are pretty good at the cleaning that would work. I would try to find VVL 800. It's a lot like Ballistol, but it doesn't smell as bad. And I don't mind hoppies. Like hoppies, I always thought hoppies smelled like angry bananas. Go ahead, process that one. I want you to think about the smell of hoppies number 9, gun solvent, copper solvent, and tell me that it does not smell like an angry banana. I said that to my dad one time. He was using it. I was like, man, hoppies always smells like angry bananas. And he stopped. He looked at me. He was like, by God, it does. It's true. It's one of those things. It's one of those things you just can't unhear. You're like, I'm going to think that for the rest of my life. Like I was telling someone the other day about having a dumb hand and a smart hand. I was like, God gives you 2 hands, and they look the same. They look exactly the same, but one of them you got to rely on for everything, and this one you can't trust to scratch your nose. You know, one really smart hand, one that's just as dumb as you can be and still live alone. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I said, you can see it happen in certain tasks. Like, what do you mean? I was like, think about tying your shoes. So you got your right hand, you got your left hand. He's like, pick this up. He's like, all right, hold that, just hold it. Don't do anything. All right, and make a loop. And you do that, you make the loop. Okay, all right, just hold it. Go around here. Now hold it. Okay, you hold this. Now we're going to switch. Okay, now you hold this again. Now pull both sides at the same time. You can see this hand telling this hand what to do. And he was like, I'm never going to be able to tie my shoes and not think of that again. So it takes a little bit. Don't forget. Hinder collectors here. There needs to be a Hoppies number 9 candle. That's not how you spell candle, by the way. There needs to be a Hoppies number 9 candle. That's not how you spell candle, is it? That isn't how you spell candle. That can't be the rate. Candle. DLE. There you go. How did autocorrect not fix that? Like, autocorrect doesn't fix shit that I spell wrong, but it'll fix shit I absolutely spelled right and intended. Like, if you type in, I can't be the only person that's, if I type in were, W-E-R-E, like we were going to go, why does it think that there needs to, like, the little bit of context, I thought we were going to go. That would make sense to abbreviate it. I thought we were going to go because we are. But I was saying, were you aware? So by context, Siri should have figured out that there shouldn't be an apostrophe in that word. I don't think I get it. But that was just a little random rant that went on in my head. That's okay, because I forgot what I was getting ready to say anyway. The angry bananas thing. I'll tell you another one that there was a chick we worked with, and on the base. Well, Polly wasn't there. This was me and one of the military kids. We worked with this chick. He was like, man, that chick on second shift. He's like, she's like a complete dirtbag. He's like complete trailer trash. Like, they always come in, the kid's all dirty. He got like lint like stuck all the way around its mouth. Like, you look at it like that kid ate a candy bar and then got a towel, like just didn't even bother washing this kid's face off, like dirt and shit for days on this kid's face. And I'm like, good God. And he looked at me, he goes, man, he's like, every time I look at her, he's like, I don't know what to think. And I was like, I know what to think. He's like, what? I was like, she looks like an onion smells, like the visual representation of the smell of an onion. She's got it locked down. And he was like, good God. He's like, that's fucked up. And he looked at me and he goes, that's fucking right, though. You know what? Like, he's like, as I thought about it, like, yeah, that's fucked up. But, like, you said it, and I thought my initial response was, man, I was telling him he shouldn't say that. It's fucked up. But no, man, you nailed it. That's exactly. So, autocorrect must be experiencing menopause. It's being a bitch to me lately. No, an onion smells like onion. I know what a sulfur smells like. An onion smells like onion. An onion will smell more oniony depending on the type of onion and also depending on the sulfur content in the ground. Autocorrect can't even correct autocorrect. I love how autocorrect, like, you'll be dictating and you'll say the same word several times in one like text, and they're each one spelled different. You're like, and has. I say the word has, and I don't know, does it sound like I say has? I'm like, are you good? It's just because it literally every time I do voice dictation, if I say the word has, it puts capital HASS, like Haas avocados. I'm like, why would you do that? The fuck sense does that even make? She got clogged up. Was this Hinder Collector? Are you the guy that Maddie made the Blade show video for? The first work on Google typing pops up after stupid is autocorrect on my phone. I like the one where the guy says that. He's like, that's a bold statement coming from a guy whose name looks like the sound that a shop vac makes when it's trying to clean water up out of a drain. That's I don't even know what y'all are talking about. I was so upset that I didn't get to go to Blade show. Here's the thing. I actually have a Southern accent, and I don't let it out because I at one point had a pretty strong Southern accent. And I think David's been around when I've either had enough alcohol or been around someone that also has an accent, and then it comes out. But I learned to enunciate because guess what? I got tired of not getting laid. And it it absolutely was a hindrance when you try to talk to people, and you have that because they immediately shave off 10 IQ points. When you talk like this, they immediately think you're just stupid. Me and Joe, oh Jesus, me and Joe after we got drunk. It's hill talk. People didn't understand us. I let the accent out when it's PDM. So yeah, we've accomplished to talk about nothing the entire thing, the entire video. I have a lot of stuff in from Jared. We haven't talked about anything of substance, and I'm digging it. I dig these live feeds. A Southern accent is different than hillbilly. PDM is not intelligent speech. Yeah, see. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna go to the trouble of sending it. I got like 30 minutes left. And I don't even have the time. And all I'm gonna do is just grill you about what the fuck's going on with Hinder and why is he being such poly pissy pants. Why is he being? You know what? Let's bring Brant on. We gotta send Brant an invite, because now we are gonna bring him on, because I just remembered that. Yeah, we could do that. Cold steel something is what it is. Cold steel 441. We are going to do that. That's exactly what we're going to do. Close that. There you go. Get ready, Brant. He's like, I'm not even down. I don't want to now. Be like, oh, fuck, what have I gotten myself into? I'm all lubricated. Guys, there's a good chance I'm probably never going to be able to drink again. This thing is pissing me off. It's a brand new cartridge. There we go. Pretty sure this could be a demonetized feed. Oh, hey. Okay. So now I have to ask a question.
Yes. Why is Rick being a little bitch?
I'm going to say no comment because I'm not going into that.
Well, then I'm going to have to kick you out, because that's all I wanted to talk to you about.
Well, no, I'm not saying this. I'm saying what I'm saying is.
Oh, what my
I
question
don't want to
was?
be in the drama because I don't
either. I just wondered what you were thinking. Like, I see. Here's the thing. Like, you guys might not know. I got a cease and desist one time from.
Oh no.
Yeah, I did. I got a cease and desist. Well, they called me. I didn't get the actual cease and desist. They called me because my phone number was listed on the videos. I was making the Viper, and there was another company that was making a small little out the side thing they called the Viper.
Oh yeah.
And I can't remember what company it was, but it was this thing where like you would push through the scale, and the blade would sort of swing out, but it was a hole in the middle, and you pushed your finger through it and it would kick it open. It was called the Viper. And I can't remember who was making it, but they reached out to me and they were like, are you planning on mass marketing these? And I was like, no, I've made like 30 of them. And they're like, how many do you usually make? And I was like, well, I've made 30 of them, and I've been doing it for like a year and a half. They're like, oh, okay, we're not sweating it. Charade. That's exactly what it was.
That's what I was going to say. Charade made it, yeah.
I got a call from the legal department at Charade. That's exactly who called me. And I was like, I mean, really, I've never made very many of them. It's exactly who it was. Charade. It's just like, you don't have a company that's making these? And I was like, no, I make them one at a time. It's a little fixed blade thing that's barely even a knife. It's like maybe a 1-inch long edge on it. She's like, I don't think we have to worry about this. I don't think we're really going to worry about you eating into our profits. And I was like, no, you should be worried about you eating away your profits, because you're making shit knives. Goodbye. I'm never answering that phone number again. Fuck. Because
no.
Yeah, like as you're hanging up, you're like, hey, your company fucking sucks.
Oh no.
When are you going to start making good knives again? Oh, wait, you never really made them before.
Yeah,
Actually,
Yeah.
Schrade did make some good knives. I have a little Schrade folder. It looks like the Buck 110.
Oh yeah, that was a cool
If you
one.
want to talk about a company that should be pissed and should be fucking suing somebody for knocking something off, Buck should be suing.
Yeah, all the Chinese manufacturers are doing it for years.
I'm fucking I get so upset about like somebody saying that someone stole someone's design, like a maker stealing another person's design, like on
Yeah.
things that are just like pretty, like especially on fixed blades. Like there's not very many fixed blades out there, but like there's a handful of knives. Like somebody was telling me that they thought that somebody was ripping off Big Brown Bear's Trapper, and I was like, but the fact is though, Big Brown Bear's Trapper is basically a Canadian belt knife.
Mm-hmm.
Cold Steel made one for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think they still do. They also made another knife that's very similar called the Roach Belly, which is another Canadian belt knife. They're both Canadian outdoors knives. And those are from the Trapper days. Those are from the French Canadian trappers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, you can't get too bent about it. Like, I guess I think about it because folding knives in slip joint world, like every dogleg trapper looks like a dogleg trapper. Every muskrat looks like a muskrat. It's a pattern, and just different companies make it differently. So that would be something I'd be okay with. But like when somebody would make a one for one, like this is not a common pattern. If you saw another person making this knife, you'd be like, yeah, you absolutely just stole that design. What's that one?
This is the lefty.
I still don't like it. Still don't like it.
Even though I can.
I'm talking about the flipper tap. I like the knife. I don't like the flipper tap.
Yeah, I mean, here's the half track. Here's the half tracks.
I haven't ever seen one of those.
They're not bad. This is actually not a bad knife.
Is it fucking super thick behind the edge? Like,
well, I mean, there's the blade.
The edge.
Oh, the
How thin
edge.
is the
Probably, at least, I don't know. It could be like, I guess so. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it looks pretty thick for.
It's a Ember. It doesn't surprise me. The Canadian belt knife is still being made by Cold Steel, so yeah.
I thought they discontinued the Roach Belly.
Not a Canadian belt knife. I think they did discontinue the Roach Belly. I thought they did both. I thought they discontinued both. But that Canadian belt knife's a really good knife. I had one for a while, and then I gave it to a buddy of mine. He threw it in his hunting pack. And,
that's cool.
No, I wasn't giving it to him. He threw it in his hunting pack, and I haven't ever fucking seen it.
Uh-oh.
I just thought about that. I was like, I gave it to a buddy, threw it in his hunting pack, and I was getting ready to finish the sentence, but I didn't mean he could keep the motherfucker. Like, I was expecting to get it back someday, and it's been like 15 goddamn years, and now he's in Montana somewhere. That's where he lives. And I was like, that motherfucker still got my goddamn knife. He probably doesn't even know it. He's in his pack.
Yeah.
What was this? I missed. Rick Hinderer was.
You didn't realize, Matt, that Hinder was small? Okay, yeah, he is pretty short, and I'm tall too, and it's funny.
Yeah, he's not real tall.
But he's a cool guy.
Neither is that guy, the older guy that he has worked the table. You know, the other I can't think of his name now. I've talked to him a bunch of times.
I'm trying to remember his name.
And usually, because he would come out to Cali Custom Show for Rick, him and his wife. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I'm trying to remember his name.
He's not very
it's
tall.
It's not Rob. Are you talking about Rob Orlando?
Maybe. I can't think of his name.
Because Rob Orlando now works for RMJ now. He works for them now.
Okay.
And they're pretty cool knives.
Hard to tell though. Matty is basically a giant.
Oh, Mattisfaction? Yeah, he is. He's pretty tall.
So yeah, I think Mattisfaction and I were talking about it. We're about the same size.
Good Lord.
What? I'm like 6'3".
You guys are the same size. That's funny.
I'm 6'3", well, I was 6'3", 230. I'm like 6'3", 219 right now after I can't fucking solid shit. Fucking can't eat real food. Is the Schrade the Alpha line US made? I don't know what we're talking about.
Oh gosh.
What
I don't know what he's talking to you for.
Well, I was talking to you and I wasn't looking at the chat. I stopped drinking 10 years ago. Hangovers after 30. I do have to admit, there's times where I will over serve myself and immediately regret it. There's been a couple of those Friday live feeds where we like that one that we did for like the 8-hour live feed that one night.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I woke up the next day and wished I had died as a small child. I was like, I'm never gonna drink again. Never, ever. And I was like, why? And then I was laying there and I was like, I must like feeling like this. Like I must enjoy this. Because if I didn't enjoy this, I would like, this is a bad enough feeling that if I didn't enjoy it, I would definitely not drink that much. Because I would be like, well, if I drink anymore, I'm going to feel like I did a week ago, and I don't want that. So I must like feeling that bad. It's the only thing. It's the only answer I can find is that I enjoy that hangover, even though I say I don't. I must. I have to, because if I didn't, I wouldn't do that to myself.
Oh, really? Your Schrade's going back to U.S. production? Okay.
Oh, Schrade is moving back to U.S. production. There's a couple companies that are gonna bring some stuff back. I'm just curious, like, what the price increase is going to be, because, like, I'm all
100.
for that. Huh?
I say 100.
Dude, I fell asleep and woke up and you were still going. I was like, what the fuck, Mike? I did an hour live feed. I did an 8-hour live feed.
Oh, wow.
And people were like, dude, I had some people that messaged me like on Instagram. I was like, dude, the only reason I stayed to watch was like, when's he gonna go to the bathroom? He's like, one guy DM'd me on Instagram. He was like, I was watching your live feed. He's like, I watched it for like, he's like, I missed the first couple hours. It's like, then I watched like, he's like, I must have watched 4 hours. And he was like, he's drinking beer and he ain't going to the bathroom. Like, how big is that dude's bladder? It's like he's like
oh man.
He's yes. Like, yeah. That's can't tell because he didn't put his name up, but it's Hinder Collector. Oh, you did? Where's your name? Oh, it is. There you go. See? There we go. Yeah, I was drinking 40s. I drank a bunch of 40s and then didn't even go to the bathroom. I woke up the next day and I was like, why is my mouth? I was like, did the cat get in here? My wife was like, why? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure the cat shit in my mouth.
Did you pee in the bottle?
Why is my tongue taste like the inside of a fucking porta potty? What is nah? And then you realize, so you're laying there and you're like, but at least I don't feel too bad. And then you get that weird like light feeling in your stomach, like not like butterflies, but like that like quivery feeling in your stomach. And then you're like, oh no, this is gonna be a bad one. And then you're fine. Man. You're fine until like, then you realize you got to take that first morning after drinking piss, the one that's like the wrong color, and you're like, I'm pretty sure that's a chemical.
Ooh.
And then you stand up and then you make it back to bed. You lay down and you're like, cool, at least my head doesn't hurt. And you lay down and you put your head down. And that's when you realize your head feels like it's coming apart. You're like, oh, good. Somebody's in there with an air pump filling my head up against my skull. My brain is swelling.
Oh, man. What's up, Knife? What's up, Knife Sergeant?
Knife Sergeant's here. When did he get here?
He said, what's up? I just saw it. Yeah, get you this hat, Tim. Get you one. They're on there. Still for sale.
Knows your boy and all. But right now, with him being a little poly pissy pants, I don't know if I'm going to buy any of his stuff. My pee-pee hurts.
Pee-pee hurts. Oh, no.
Someone questioned my business, and someone questioned the way I do things, and they had proof, and now I'm butthurt.
Oh God.
I just that just irritates me. I'm like, that's like, bro, just go out and say, hey, maybe one of them got screwed up. It's production heat treat. It's done big batch. It's not done. It's not like I'm doing each knife and testing each knife. Like that's all he had to say. He's like, maybe we'll take a look at it. That's all it takes.
To Todd Carter, yes, I am getting a car. Yes, I'm getting one.
You didn't miss anything. We started talking about Rick Hinder and all the stuff that's going on. I mean, I'm not saying that Rick doesn't have a right to make a complaint and say, hey, you might be hurting my business. But the fact is, he would have grounds to say that if there wasn't proof that Brian had that shows that Brian's accurate. You know what I mean? You don't get to if someone says something about your business and it's a true fact, you don't get to throw the defamation around, because if there's proof, then you're not really being defamed. They're just calling something out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I'm not gonna say anything, because it's not my business. It's not my drama. It's not my.
I'm like, just like, why does this have to happen? Like every couple of years, there's just like the entire knife world goes quiet and everything's really fun and everything's good. It's a blast, and it's not like the View, and then there's like in a month long period you can see it start, like that month 2 month 3 month cycle. It just starts popping up, and then there's something that happens, and there's something that happens, and then someone dies, and then there's something that happens, and I'm like, and I mean,
let's not forget. I mean, John Graham died.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. That was in that cycle of everything that was going on.
Yeah, I've actually wanted his knives.
It was the Hoback thing, and then it was the Brian and Rick thing, and then it was John Graham died, and then it was Brian and Microtech, and then right after that was Medford. So I'm like, it's just like, geez, Christ. Dude, I don't want to sound like a dicks, but can the hater kind of sounds like Carl from Jimmy Neutron? David, I would like you to take this back. I would like you to take this statement back to your desk, possibly reread it, and then turn it back in. I'm going to give you one chance, David, to take a look at your paper and possibly take that comment. Give it a quick reread, see what needs to be edited, bring it back up to me. I'll give you full credit. See, I could have been a great teacher. That would have been a great one right there. This thing keeps clogging up and I'm getting upset. Okay.
I get that a lot. Some people think I sound like Carl. Some people think I sound like Barney Rubble. Hey,
I can see that one. I Like I was listening to the other ones. I'm like, you said Barney Rubble. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, hey, Fred, what are you doing, Fred?
It's a live example of why you shouldn't live in an echo chamber. No, this is a live example of why you shouldn't live in an echo chamber.
Hello.
Can you imagine?
Hello.
Can you imagine what it would be like if it was like this every day? Like, this is what it's like to live in an echo chamber.
Good Lord. The reverb on it.
Well, it's designed that way, Brent.
I love it.
I love it. It's fucking awesome. Wrong background for the echo. Oh yeah. Oh, hang on a second. I'll set.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Here we go. Virtual background. We got to have the one for the echo. Oh, I have a good one for the echo. Where'd it go?
Well, thank you, Hiking with the Viking. Thank you.
I personally like this one.
Did you hear he's actually thinking about buying YouTube?
Oh, I would love it. He wasn't thinking about it. It was posted as a joke on his Twitter. I don't think they would. There's no way.
No, I'm just saying it would be funny if he did bite.
This is the correct venue for the Echo. Because I'm in a hangar bay on the spaceship. What's that? I don't care for making standard of the whole suing of people for negative reviews of a product. That could... Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I don't like the idea that I say I don't like a knife and somebody starts suing me for it. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I said a lot of good things about that knife too. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I like the knife. I just wish it didn't have that flipper tab. Custom EDC knives.
There you go, Mike. Okay, Mike. There you go. Non-flipper.
It's real purple.
It's actually blue.
That's awful purple.
No, that's blue. This is blue. This is not purple. You colorblind or something?
No, that's absolutely fucking purple.
No, it's blue. It's legit blue.
And it must be your camera that's doing it because
Yeah, it probably is.
it absolutely fucking looked purple.
Probably is. I mean, there's a famous knife that everybody should... Project X.
Yes. 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 Warhammer 40K it right there. When do we have Space Marines? There's
good stuff.
They are redoing the old, they are remaking the original PS3 Space Marine shooter.
There you go.
David? I don't give a shit about that. Dave and I are talking about geek stuff now. And they are also making a new
That's Warhammer.
third-person shooter, Warhammer 40K Space Marines shooter. So I have the one on PS3. The only reason I still have a PS3 is because I have that game saved to it. In your best hands and friends impression, how dare you say you don't like my hardness?
Get to the chopper.
Not hands and friends. It's much more. It's a much more over the top. I got a pretty good response from Curtis when I had my negative video. I have too. I've done a couple negative videos. I don't like to do them very often, unless it's just like if it's just that I don't like the knife, I won't do a review. I'll say a couple things about it. If I really don't like the knife, I just won't do the video at all. That way I don't say, a fully negative thing. But if there's just if I can still say, oh, it's a good knife for these reasons, and it doesn't, the negatives don't outweigh it, it's still going to be, it could have less negatives than positives and still be pretty negative, and I wouldn't want to do the video. So, but I did one. I did a couple of, but I did one and another knife. Jared told me about this. This guy was going to sue me because I'm also a knife maker and a knife designer. He's like, that's not right. He shouldn't be doing that. And I was like, I said a lot of really good things about that knife. I said a lot of really good things about the knife. I only actually said a couple bad things. I said the knife doesn't fit my hand the way I would want. It doesn't address, it kind of rolls in my hand because of the size of my hand, doesn't address the cut. And I don't like the pocket clip. And then I immediately followed that by saying, overall, though, it's a really well-built, well-made knife. And I can see a lot of people liking it. And I was like, Jared told me later, he's like, yeah, he was going to sue you. And I was like, for what? For what? Okay, so Daniel here is the guy that I sharpened his last Rockstead for. And yes, I would like to see the Higo in for testing, but weren't you saying that it had some chips on the very edge that you wanted me to try and fix?
Doesn't that have a zero?
Yes, it has a zero grind, Brant.
Oh, wow.
Well, I sharpened his other one. But he's
I never held one before. Those are cool.
I sharpened the small one that he's in. I did a video about it. It was nerve-wracking. I was literally sharpening, because you guys usually see me doing a video and I'm sharpening like this and I'm moving the stones around. I'm going pretty fast. This one, I was I had my reading glasses on. I had all the lights on. And I'm just watching that stone, making sure that angle doesn't change at all. And go down. And I'd lift it up. I'd look and make sure I hadn't got outside of the bevels. Lay it back down. And go back. It literally took me 2 days to sharpen that knife.
Holy crap.
Yeah, because I couldn't do like you had to take breaks. I was like, I'd work on it for like 15 minutes. I was like, I have you had to focus so hard on what you were doing to make sure you didn't screw up. Like, I don't want to screw up somebody's like. Well, we'll take a look. I'll tell you what, we would have to hold off. If you said it, then I would have to take a look at it and let you know if it's something I feel comfortable doing. So that would definitely be one we would have to play by ear. Yeah, I want to look at it and I want to review it, but I absolutely don't want to Roger up to sharpening it before I take a look at it. Then the guy saw you, looked skyward, found your face, did an immediate about face, and legged it. I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know what we're talking about. Let's see here. Mike doesn't. I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know what got. I don't know what. I got into the devil lettuce. So I'm not scrolling up through that. I just don't have that kind of. The chips are very minor. If that helps, we'll see. We'll see. I might be able to do something with it. Todd says I'll be here probably till the stream ends. There's something on here. I wanted to see what is this one. Oh, that's the button. That's okay. I'm gonna relabel that when people see Brant's penis.
Oh yeah, haha. You're such a douchebag. Yeah.
There's one on here that says awkward. Brant, you ready for this? There's one on here that says awkward. Ready? I don't know who wrote this because
I don't know either.
This is Exalt. This is the Exalt one. But there's also one on here that says, and there's one on here that says Kiss, and it's on there. This says Lyric.
Because you're near me. I want to like you.
And I'm like, what? Like, that's all, and that's it. I didn't touch anything. That's just all of it. Like, that's it. That's just what they play.
Oh, man.
So then there's another one, and I've told people this. This is what it sounds like. This is what it sounds like at 8 a.m. in the morning in Hong Kong when you open up the door to the Big Apple Go-Go. This is exactly what you walk into. At 8 a.m. Like, the place never closes. 24 hours a day. You walk in, you're like, you just got up, and you're like, oh, let's go see. Maybe they'll have breakfast. You're like, what the fuck? You walk in, it's like midnight. You're like, you walk in, like, well, I guess we're gonna party all day. I was like literally just walk. You're like, hey, let's see if they're open. Maybe they serve food. You know, it's right across from the hotel. We opened up the door to that place. See this shit? There was people at the bar drinking. There's people dancing, and I was like, I walked in and I was like, I asked the guy at the bar. He's like, can I help you? And I was like, it's a lot of expats, like British expats in Hong Kong. And he's like, you want a beer? And I was like, it's 8 a.m. He goes, so? I was like, fuck it, I'll have a beer. And I was like, what time are you guys open? He goes, mate, we don't close. They're open 24 hours a day. I was like, there's no goddamn way. I was like, how can you like this is what you hear 24 hours a day?
That's funny.
Like, that is like just sitting there like 24 hours a day. He's like, and that's what I'm thinking, right? I said all that shit. I say that, and he looked at me and he goes, mate, I only work a shift. I was like, all right, fair enough. Like, he's like, he looked at me, he's like, it's not like I live here. Like, I have a home. I work a shift, and then I go home. And he's laughing. I was like, because I've never seen a bar that's open 24 hours a day. And it
That's
literally
unreal.
was. The entire time we stayed there, that place was always open. I think they close on I think they close on Sundays for like cleaning so that no one dies. So you got a day so everyone in the neighborhood can dry out because they've been drinking at 8 a.m. for months. Yeah, it was fucking nuts. It just didn't even strike me that maybe it's your bar.
Yeah.
Fuck, how can you live like that? He's like, I don't live here. I go home when I'm done.
Mm-mm.
There's more than just me. They have other bartenders and they work other shifts. And I was like, I guess you're right. I guess it's a lot like a restaurant that's open 24 hours a day. I don't know why I didn't think that, but that's exactly what popped into my head. Guys, I'm gonna get off here.
Cuba?
All
right.
This microphone is so sensitive.
Holy mackerel.
Big old
AMSR. AMSR. There you go.
It's AMSR. I don't think anybody wants me to do AMSR.
I'll do one. Wait. Just open and close my mouth. There you go.
hang on. We have something for that. It just doesn't work for you.
Oh, yeah, that sounds cool. Ooh. Yeah.
That's what the abyss sounds like. It's my Norseman song. I've never done it with my Norseman.
Ooh. Oh man, that sounded cool. That little ting that just gives it off.
So you know how it bounces out of when it closes? You get to do it. You get that double because it bounces out and back into D10.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Please get the Hobbit to figure out how to record that. Record what? I don't know what we're talking about, David.
I don't know either.
Well, this is what it sounds like if you're recording in David's rectum.
Oh God.
Rectum. Damn, they're killing
Clean
me.
up on aisle 5. Clean up on aisle 5.
The knife. Please get the Hobbit to figure out how to record what? The knife? I mean, I could record it. I know how that works. I don't have to only connect this for a live feed. I can do this anytime I own the microphone.
Yeah, you can have fun with it.
So I can't figure out. It's got a hum. It's got a hum that only I can hear in this microphone. But it's picking up something somewhere, and I haven't figured out. I got to put a bigger plate on it because it tries to fall over every once in a while. But when you touch when I touch my mouse pad to move the cursor around to click on something, the hum goes. I'm like, what the? So I think the hum I'm hearing is actually coming from the computer. And when I touch the mouse pad, I don't know if it's the electrostatic field it uses for that glass top, because it's a touch. It's basically a glass touch screen on your keyboard, just like your phone. And like when I touch it, it goes you can just hear, the further up you, anytime you just, I'm like, wow. So it has to be coming from my computer. But I keep going. I keep thinking you guys can hear it, and everybody's like, I don't hear anything. That microphone's really clear. It is still really clear, right?
It sounds clear.
Okay, cool. Bob, what happened? Did you trade the Blues Mobile for the mic? I don't know.
What?
I have no idea. Retracted. You want what retracted? I mean, you're pretty sure your penis already retracted. Looks like an innie belly button or an outie belly button. I mean,
Oh my gosh, you better go get that check.
You gotta sneeze real. If you gotta take a leak, you gotta sneeze real hard, or put your thumb in your mouth and go. Oh, there you got it. You got it. Got it. You gotta pop that thing out like a belly button.
Mm-hmm.
What's this? You're gonna see us all soon. Okay. So, yeah, guys, I'm gonna get off here. It's been 2 hours. I got other stuff I want to do.
All right, mate.
Smoke some more of that stuff and watch.
Well,
cartoons.
always thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I just wanted to harass you about the Rick Henderer thing. I knew you
know.
weren't going to answer me.
No, I'm not.
Well, guys, it's getting late, and it's about past Satan's bedtime. So, I think we're going to call it a night. And just remember, there's a couple videos that are going up tomorrow. They're both unboxing videos. And then there's a self-defense knife video that goes up. Why do I think I have to face the microphone? The microphone works.
You don't have to face it.
Use this voice. It's only when I use this voice that I turn and face the microphone. Like the rest of the fucking live feed, I'm like this. I turn this voice on and I'm like, well, guys, I think it's about what the fuck goes on in my head.
Oh, man.
Not much. Guys, what I was trying to say is, it's past Satan's bedtime. And I believe that I want to get some rest, because I am afraid I might not get any for a while if this stomach issue returns. Sleeping in the hospital is fucking impossible. So, good night. Sleep tight. And if you've
Goodbye,
got
America.
bugs, if you have bed bugs, fucking clean your house. Good night. Where's that button?